Today, we're going to dive into the hidden story behind something we see literally every day, but probably never think about: the alphabet's very first letter, A.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to wonder about that? Why A? Why not B or Z or something else? Is the order we all learned as kids just random? An accident of history? Or is there something more going on? Well, it turns out it's not random at all, not even close. There's an ancient and, honestly, a pretty fascinating logic behind it, and it tells us a whole lot about how we even started to think and communicate. Okay, so let's start right there with our first big question and deconstruct this simple order that we all take for granted. We're going to peel back the layers here. You see, you have to stop thinking of the alphabet as just a list of symbols. It's more like a fossil record of human ideas, a kind of timeline of communication itself. And to really get why A gets that number one spot, we have to go way, way back, thousands of years.
And that brings us to the original A, story that takes us from the pasture to the page. This is where things get really visual and, well, pretty unexpected.
Believe it or not, our modern letter A didn't begin its life as a symbol for a sound. Nope, it started as a picture, a simple drawing of an animal. And that animal? It was the ox. The original name for what would eventually become our A was Aleph, which is an ancient Semitic word that literally means ox. Think about it. In early farming societies, the ox was everything. It was a symbol of strength, of wealth, of the power to grow food. It was, without a doubt, the most important animal. So if you're going to create a writing system, where do you start? You start with the most important thing. It just makes sense.
So how on earth did we get from a picture of an ox head to the letter A? Well, that's a symbol's journey. We can literally watch thousands of years of history unfold in just this one single character.
The evolution is just incredible. Okay, so around 1700 BCE, you have a clear pictogram of an ox head. You can easily see the horns, right? Then, maybe 700 years later, the Phoenicians, who were these super practical sailors and traders, they simplified it to make writing faster, and they tipped it on its side. Then the Greeks borrowed it, called it alpha, and they flipped it over. And suddenly, wow, those horns are pointing down, and it's starting to look really familiar. And finally, the Romans came along and perfected it into that clean, stable A that we use every day. And right there, that whole process, it represents this massive leap in human thinking. A symbol for a thing, an ox, got simplified into a symbol for a sound, the ah sound. This was a total game changer for communication. It's the move to a phonetic alphabet, where letters stand for sounds, not just objects. So we know it started out as an ox. But how does that ancient history actually affect us today? That brings us to the power of first place, the cultural primacy of A. Because Aleph, the symbol for the most important animal, was picked to be first, that feeling of importance, of primacy, it just stuck. For more than 3,000 years, A has held on to that number one spot. And that long, long history has soaked into the letter itself, basically turning A into a symbol for the best. And we see this cultural hangover everywhere, right? What's the highest grade you can get? An A+. The most famous celebrities, they're on the A list. Your primary strategy, it's plan A. The elite squad, the A team. The finest quality, grade A. This isn't a coincidence, folks. It's a direct cultural echo of a decision that was made millennia ago to put the ox first. And all of this leads us to our final thought. This is all history in plain sight. These are the stories we're literally writing every single day.
You know, someone once said that the alphabet is like a gallery of tiny pictures, a history of our world frozen into 26 symbols. And that's just the perfect way to look at it. Every time you type the letter A, you are, whether you realize it or not, drawing the highly abstract descendant of an ancient symbol for an ox. That's real history we touch every day. So I'll just leave you with this. If this is the incredible 3,700-year-old journey of just one letter, what kinds of stories are the other 25 letters hiding? Suddenly, the good old alphabet doesn't seem quite so simple anymore, does it?